Not this time. My brother's going solo so I'll be watching with you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everybody's ready because the show is about to begin. The great magician Lyney has prepared a spectacular show for us all tonight, concluding with an all-new grand finale that no audience has ever seen.
Wow! A new trick!
Thank you all so much for coming. Now, prepare to join me on a journey through the mystical and miraculous.
Exciting stuff.
Yes, it's just...
No wonder. Caesar was a famous magician, so how did you...
Well, I was out on this children love magic because they're willing to believe in things that can't be rationally explained. Caesar had this amazing way of and somehow I felt drawn to him too.
Aw, that sounds so romantic.
It was with a flower. He took it in his hand, snapped his fingers, and I was so happy that day.
Oh, that's so cute.
Is that right? Then I suppose he's a romantic at heart, just like Caesar. After all, you never know when the people dearest to you might...
That's right. Paimon doesn't really know how to comfort you, but at the very least, no...
Right. Yes, you can breathe easy now.
See? Even Lynette says the Phantom Weasel! Lorenzo escaped? Where is he?
What do you mean?
As Lyney once said, a performer's job is to commit fully to their... But once the bag of tricks is empty and the curtain falls, it's time to end the show. The spotlight is no place for someone with no... It's been 10 years, Gemma. Aren't you tired of the grieving widow act? I think it's...
What are you talking about? Traveler, Paimon doesn't like where this is going.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all enjoying. There will now be a brief intermission, after which Lyney will perform the most electrifying act of tonight's show. The final performance will take place outside of the Opera House, so please make your...
The Phantom Weasel never did like public place. Don't worry, this place will be quiet soon.
Dear me, this is awkward, isn't it? And unfortunately, I'm all out of gadgets, so I'm afraid I can't do any This is a big mistake for a magician to make. But thankfully...
Lyney, don't we have more? Lynette accused Gemma of being the real Phantom Weasel a moment...
All in good time. Magicians are good at guessing what people are thinking.
Really? Well then, let's hear it!
Let's go back to the very beginning. A decade ago, when the Phantom Weasel was terrorizing the court of Fontaine. But as her infamy grew, so did the readiness of the police, and her opportunities to act became ever fewer. Every day, she ran the risk of being exposed for who she was. Of course, she could not simply take this lying down, and before long, she found her ticket to freedom. She would create... After weighing her options, she set her sights on a renowned magician, Caesar. After all, magic and theft shared enough.
So then what?
Being the master deceiver she was, the Weasel easily earned Caesar's trust. Now, all that remained was to frame him for her count. But as she was considering how to make her move, she noticed Caesar's aggrieved pupil, and a new thought entered her mind. At her encouragement, Lorenzo tampered with Caesar's magic box, causing him to fall to his death. Afterwards, Lorenzo seized his master's property, and the Weasel set about tarnishing Caesar's reputation. Two co-conspirators committed the perfect crime.
I've got to hand it to you. You're both exceptional storytellers. It's enough to... But I just have one question. You seem to think that I am the villain.
Don't worry, Lorenzo said nothing, but I never believed that he was the weasel, and in fact, my investigation only made me more certain of that. He was...
How disappointing. So you'd sooner trust Lorenzo than me? Even without a shred of evidence?
A magician is an expert at playing the audience to get the result they want. And I have no doubt that with a little help from Lorenzo, you put on a very convincing performance. The lovesick fiancé, whose devotion to her but Caesar was maligned and hated by all for 10 years, but you? Everyone sympathized with your plight. Who would suspect for 1 second that the lovely young lady always seen weeping in front of Caesar's grave was actually the mastermind?
Wait, so you mean the whole intimidation thing was just a... But why would Lorenzo agree to that? And why didn't he sell her out even at the end instead of a...
Yes, why indeed? Maybe Gemma herself could enlighten us on that question.
Well, Lyney, if you're so confident in your having killed Caesar with his own hands, Lorenzo was plagued by overwhelming guilt. Revealing the Phantom Weasel's true identity would serve no purpose. But if the Weasel
An excellent answer. Those...
Is that right? Well, don't let me bore you. If you'd
As a matter of fact, there's one thing I'd really... Why would the real Weasel have targeted things that only have value to other people?
Of course. After all, if I had to guess, I would say that the... left to fend for herself after her parents died young. Betrayed, she'd scrounge waste paper from garbage bins to draw on, using twigs and dirt for lack of ink and pen. She'd this was her only source of happiness in life. But it was all she needed. Once again, she was betrayed. And this time, everything was taken from her. This was a fate too cruel for anyone to bear. I detest the happiness of others. I will rob them of everything they hold to be good and true.
That's some pretty...
Now it all makes...
Does this story satisfy you?
Yes, it is quite to my tastes. Thank you for helping to...
Huh. That's right! Because without that, none...
She didn't write the letter.
After 10 long years, I'd hoped that the Phantom Weasel would be consigned to the history books by Lyney. Or should I call you the Phantom Copycat now? You were the...
Very sharp, Phantom Weasel. Still as shrewd. Well, no need for me to be coy about it. The most straightforward way to change the public's impression of Caesar was to force the Weasel to show themselves.
That's it?
Of course we did. We made it quite clear in the letter, I believe. I shall take from you...
10 years ago? Wait. Oh, I get it. He taught you magic back then, didn't he? For what, 10 days or something?
We remember all our debts, however great. 10 years ago, Caesar's reputation was torn to shreds and his legacy was thrown out. But we did not forget.
And? What exactly did you take from me?
Free? Caesar once told me that even though the world is filled with lies, and I think that applies to you too. Truth can take many forms. Life took many things from you, and those wounds never healed. When they ached unbearably in the...
What are you trying to say?
I'm saying that for the last 10 years, you've been living a rather uneventful life. Perhaps that's because you've... Back to Lorenzo for a second. He murdered his own master, played along with your act. He knew who you were and the things you'd done, and despite that, he was willing to give You're more than just accomplices in murder. You're the only real friends each other has. So I think... But that truth is gone now. And I guarantee you...
Congratulations on your freedom, Gemma.
Your freedom will cost you dearly. From now on, you'll be all alone in a world full...
Gather round, one and all. The time has now come for the amazing Lyney. I'm sure you're all wondering what he has planned for the grand finale. well.
A high-altitude escape?
I'm sure you all remember the magician Caesar. This was the very trick that led to his fatal fall. But we have now learned that Caesar was wrongly accused, and that the real weasel has now...
Guess that's my cue to leave. Whew. Traveler, Paimon, I hope you enjoy the rest of the show. There may be a lot of people watching tonight, but...
Lyney, wait. You two hid a lot from Caesar. He went to his grave without ever knowing your secrets. You don't have to tell lies to end up isolated and alone.
You're wrong. I'm nothing like you.
So,
Like Lyney said, when you're ready, let's...
but what about Gemma?
She'll figure out what's best for her soon enough. Oh, and if you'd like to see Lyney after the show...
All right. Well, let's go and watch...
Magic should be mysterious, surprising, and defy logic. Magic is hard work. Every single movement has to be practiced thousands of times.
It's all right. We're used to that.
We're sorry. You've taught us so much, but we can't tell you the whole truth.
It's okay. Do you still remember what I told you? This world is full of lies and falsehoods. I only hope that one day, you can find your own truth.
What about you? Have you found your truth?
Magic is my truth. I want to perform a magic trick so great that people will always think of me when they talk about it. For a magician, what greater honor could there be?
Look! Behold! Lyney is sealed inside the box. Will he manage to escape? 10 years ago, Caesar attempted this very trick, and it was at this precise moment that...
Watch out!
Mysterious. Surprising. And logic-defying. Isn't that right? This honor belongs to you, Caesar. I'm just sorry it's a little late.
Did you see that? 1 minute he was falling, and the next, he turned into flowers.
How could he possibly have done that?
How mysterious. I didn't blink once.
What a heart-stopping magic show! This was really... Caesar's name has finally been cleared, and Fontaine's new star magician Lyney has fulfilled a wish on his behalf. Oh, I couldn't ask... Looks like everyone really loved Lyney's grand finale. Paimon doesn't see Lyney anywhere. Oh, Lynette said he'd be waiting for us at the usual hunt. But, oh, you mean the one where Caesar... Yeah, that's probably it. This whole magic show kinda seemed like Lyney's way of saying... Alright, let's go look for him.